Growing up as a kid, I always admired how cool space was. And even today, I always wondered what's in the stars. Are we alone? How big is our universe? Some of mankind's greatest unknowns. Neil Armstrong helped us get one step closer to answering our questions when he was the first man to ever step foot on the moon. Neil Armstrong raised the hopes and dreams of every human on Earth. He helped open a new age for space exploration, and he even received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his heroic efforts 238,000 miles from home. Neil Armstrong became an inspiration to millions of Americans, as well as raised the hopes and dreams for every human on Earth. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong took one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Now, man, it's very fine. I'm going to step off the limb. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful.
On that infamous day, 650 million people around the globe tuned in to watch mankind walk the moon. That landing taught us about the composition of the moon, and it also gave humans the first ever perspective of what Earth looks like from space. After Armstrong and his team arrived on the moon, millions of people back home became eager to see what was in deep space. Secondly, Neil Armstrong also helped a new age for space exploration when he took those first iconic steps. Many people believed that man could now accomplish anything that they put their mind to. Armstrong influenced many other nations to reach the moon as well. For example, the Soviets, hence the name the space race. According to History.com, since Apollo 11 first landed on the moon, 571 people have been in orbit around the planet at one point or another. NASA was so inspired about what was in deep space that in September of '77, they launched Voyager 1 into space. Nearly 42 later, it is still transmitting data back to us. This picture here was taken in 1990, and I don't know if you guys can see, but this is a picture of Earth, and that's the famous image, the pale blue dot. And this was taken 3 billion miles from Earth. In August 2012, Voyager 1 left our solar system and officially entered unexplored interstellar space. According to NASA, it even has a date with a star in 40,000 years. It currently lies 11.7 billion miles from home and is zipping through space at 38,000 miles per hour. On September 24th, 2003, NASA made its biggest breakthrough in over 20 years. The Hubble telescope. More importantly, the Hubble Deep Field. The telescope allows us to see 13.8 billion light years into deep space. This photo shows all the stars and galaxies. And most likely the galaxies and stars we see here will look completely different and perhaps collide with each other because it's showing us 13.8 billion years into the past because it takes light so long to travel to us. This brings me to a unique fact about Neil Armstrong. After the Apollo 11 crew, which included Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, headed home, they had received a phone call from President Nixon himself, inviting the crew to have dinner with him in Los Angeles. President Nixon awarded the three brave men with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest award a civilian can receive, given to those who contributed in unforgettable form to the prosperity of the United States. Upon receiving this award, Armstrong was quoted saying, "We are privileged to leave on the moon a plaque saying for all mankind. Perhaps in the third millennium, a wayward stranger will read the plaque at Tranquility Base and let history mark that this was the age in which that became a fact." To summarize, Armstrong inspired the lives of millions on that day in '69, including myself after growing up learning about the deep parts of space. He opened a new age of space exploration, and although there has been some setbacks, some great discoveries have been made, and still so much we do not know. Will we ever be able to travel the speed of light? Will we ever find life in deep space? Will humans travel into deep space? There is still so much we don't know, which is so exciting yet absolutely terrifying. Neil Armstrong is etched as one of the most historically significant people of all time, more than people give him credit for, which is why him and his team were awarded with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.